What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. And what I got for your face balls today is a little repair video. um, so what I've got here is a Benchmade Bugout, which you can see right there has a broken Omega spring. And so in order to get this spring out of here, you really have to kind of disassemble, and of course mine's on the pocket clip side. So anyway, we're just going to get right into it here. For those that have dealt with this before, these Omega springs are not the most robust things in the world. Uh, and so they do break from time to time. And, Benchmade has a fantastic warranty department, which is really great. And they do good work. And that's one of the great things about Benchmade. Uh, Keep these screws separate here just because they're different lengths. But anyway, one of the bad things about Benchmade is that they won't just send you the part. I called multiple different dealers. I called Benchmade themselves just trying to purchase the springs, and they will not just send you the actual springs. Apparently, they are concerned that somebody will copy the springs, which is kind of interesting because somebody has. And so I was able to find these springs online. And yeah, kind of interesting. It didn't take me terribly long to find them. And the guy that I got them from, he has them in the large size and the small size. So, for example, the Bugout has a different size spring than the, I don't know, Super Freak, I think. Or there's a small and a large size Omega spring. And this guy that sells them online has both sizes. And the reason that I did this, I'm not shitting on Benchmade here at all. Basically, what it boiled down to is that I really wanted to try out this guy's springs, I guess, to see if they were any better and lasted any longer. And then the other thing was, it honestly was cheaper to do this. So here are the two Omega springs right there. So anyway, the reason I say it was cheaper is just due to shipping. Because if you were to pay for shipping to ship this knife out to Portland, Oregon to Benchmade and return ship it, it would actually cost more than what these springs cost. So yeah, there's that. So the springs, I think they were, I don't know, $5 or something like that, $5 or $6. I can't remember exactly what I paid for them, but either way, it was less than what it would cost to ship the knife back and forth. So I'm gonna fully disassemble this guy just because it's dirty and needs it. There we go. All right. So as you can see here, there is, if I can get it off there. Come on. Good Lord. There is the broken Omega spring. And there's some dirt and grime on it. I did want to kind of measure this spring up and see if it's any different than the new ones that I received. You can see, I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but there is definitely a color difference. These are kind of a bronzish or gold color. And I mean, the retention feels good on them. But yeah, let's see if we can make sure this guy's zeroed here. I'm going to put it in millimeters. And I'm going to measure the wire diameter here. So we're 0.55 millimeters on, that's the stock Benchmade spring. And on the aftermarket spring, we are 0.58 millimeters. So the aftermarket spring is a little bit more substantial, a little thicker wire diameter. I'm also going to, and I don't know, these things are really, really lightweight, so I'm not sure if this will work or not, but I'm going to try to weigh them. Of course, we'll do this in grams. All right, I'm going to take the 2 pieces. So we got 0.09 grams for the stock Benchmade spring, and 0.011. So I guess that does follow suit with the little thicker wire diameter. So that's cool. Maybe they are more robust. Like I said, this is the first time I've done this. I haven't had a ton of broken Benchmade springs, but I have had a couple of them. And I've always just sent the knives back. And like I said, Benchmade's warranty department always does a really great job. And, I'm not, this isn't a video bashing Benchmade by any means. I just was looking at it. I found the springs online, and so I decided to grab them, and we'll see what they're all about. See if they're any better, worse, whatever, which they very well could be worse. I don't know. Like I said, we're going to find out. And the funny part of this deal here is that I was actually in Portland for work not too long ago, and I was there over a weekend, and actually went to Benchmade and spent a little time there, and had this exact Bugout in my pocket while I was there. And then, of course, the way my luck rolls, about 2 weeks after I left there, well, I don't even think it was that, probably within 7 to 10 days after leaving Benchmade, the stupid spring on this thing breaks. So, of course, I could have got it repaired while I was there. Had I known that it was going to break, I most certainly would have. But that's, like I said, that's the way my luck rolls. And yeah, so for those that don't have a Bugout, it's a really, really great knife. And just, yeah, like I said, this is in no way, shape, or form a video that's negative towards Benchmade. I like Benchmade. They're a good company, and they make good quality stuff. And, some of it's a little overpriced and that sort of thing. But, when you get a good quality one, man, the Axis Lock is really fantastic and does a great job. So, now, there is a right and a left spring here based off of the orientation of the little bent end. So, we will get this guy on there. So the springs just snap over the lock bar like so. And then they go into this guy. Oop. And the little tab, if I can get it in there, sits right in that little cutout, that little deal right there. So that's how they sit in there. Oop, and it just popped out again. So, when it comes to disassemblies, are you kidding me? Benchmade Axis Lock knives are a little finicky to deal with. Generally not terrible, but, and then you do have, just by way of the way the Axis Lock is made, you do have quite a few screws to hold all this stuff together, because you have this milled out pocket underneath the scales where the Omega springs sit. But like I said, when an Axis Lock is done well, man, it's a joy to carry. Just really, really nice action and fun to use. So, like I said, I definitely am a fan of the Axis Lock, and I don't know how many people have seen the new Hogue Deca, but that's definitely a cool looking knife, and I will definitely be getting one of those. Um, I kind of stayed clear of Hogue for a while, not because I knew the knives would be high quality. I've used their gun grips for years, and that part, like I said, I knew that they would build really high quality products. Uh, the only thing was for me, the the like X series knives, I just didn't really care for the aesthetics of those knives. And then I happened to pick one up, and I got it on the secondary market. I picked it up cheap and really was blown away with the build quality. Really nice and just really, really well made knife. So, yeah, I will definitely be getting some more Hogue stuff for sure. So, generally um, on are you kidding me? On knives on washers, I generally do not put much in the way of lubricant in there. Uh, the phosphor bronze is kind of self lubricating, and so you really just don't need much, and it just attracts dirt anyway. So, all right, going back together here. Hopefully this will fit in there like this. I'm hoping. There we go. And all the pivot on this guy and the blade stop pin up there both have a D shape to them, which is really nice. So you get positive engagement there. All right. So sometimes these springs can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but generally it's not a terrible deal to take these knives apart. Oop. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're all back together there. I'm just gonna get the pivot screw here, and I don't think I mentioned it, but on the Benchmade Bugout, your pivot screw is a T10, and then all of the body screws are T6. And you do have different length body screws. You've got a short and a long there, you can see. Um, the vast majority are the shorts, and the short ones are, they hold those little half liners in and go into the blade stop. So the long ones hold the pocket clip on and go into the barrel spacers on the back side of the knife. Uh, so these little T6 screws are sometimes a little bit of a pain in the ass, especially for my big fat ass fingers. All right. Or I said the wrong thing there. So all of the screws on this guy are the little short ones except for the pocket clip screws. Those are the ones that are longer. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're pretty well back together here, and the pivot's way too tight, but I carry this on the left, like the left hand carry. So let me put the pocket clip back on, and then we'll adjust the pivot and see what we got for some action here. And you do, you know, if you need to take the scale off, you do have to take the pocket clip off to get to that back standoff screw, which, you know, not a terrible deal. I do really like the pocket clip on the Bugout. I like the short, deep carry. It's pretty fantastic. So this pivot's way too tight. So let's loosen that up a little bit and see what we're dealing with here. All right, so certainly dropping. I do have just a little tiny bit of blade wiggle there. Now I'm just the tiniest bit too tight. All right, so might let her ride right there and kind of wear in, but it certainly can do all the stuff. There we go. So anyway, so you can see there that the springs are in place, and the retention on the springs, it sucks it right back in, so that's great. Yep. So it feels about like what it did originally, I guess. You know, it had one broken spring for several weeks, so I don't have another one to compare it to exactly for the spring tension. But the fact that they're just slightly heavier gauge wire on these springs, I like that. And, you know, they fit in there just fine. The size was correct. So we'll see how these work out and see how well they hold up. And so far, I'm impressed. And like I said, you know, for the cost of shipping, it would have cost me a little bit more because I only paid like $5 or something. It was certainly less than $10 to get the springs. And so, you know, I still have one factory Benchmade spring and one broken one there. Yeah, you know, I thought it was worth trying out anyway, and it was worth the $5 just to, you know, it would have cost me $7 or $8 to ship it each way back to Benchmade. So we'll see how this works out. But if you do need some Benchmade springs, I can't remember the guy that I bought them from, but it didn't take me long to find them. You just do a Google search for Benchmade Omega springs and you can come up with them. And it did take a few weeks to get them, but not a big deal. I would have, you know, if I would have sent my knife back in to get it repaired, it would have taken a few weeks also. So not a big deal. But anyway, guys, there we go. That is a repaired Benchmade Bugout. Thanks a lot, guys, and hope you guys have great holidays coming up here, and we will see you next time.